that Scientology is so afraid of.
This is SPTV.
Hello, guys. Welcome back to more SPTV, where every single literal day of the week we ask ourselves the same question. What in the literal hell is Scientology so afraid of? Although the headline for this video, you guys, and I'm sure you've already checked out the thumbnail, deals this time with not so much Scientology being afraid of something, but more like the LAPD being afraid of something. So, in order to gather my thoughts, let me read the statement and then let's check it out. Let's figure out what's going on, you guys. The LAPD's attempts to present a sanitized image in collaboration with Scientology are not only evident to some of us, but also quite alarming. Right, guys? Who in the chat is alarmed with the recent events? Let the LAPD, that I'm sure is watching our chats now, you guys, every time that we tag them, because, you know, we are tagging them on social media, and we are allowed to ask intelligent questions. And I want to bring up that it's a very valid way of protesting, asking very smart questions of the LAPD to really start connecting dots. And since they did block comments for their statement, a little statement they put out for themselves, the LAPD, the little press people at the LAPD, how do we sanitize this real quick, you guys? Well, I think they were typing way faster than they should have, those PR people. And that's why we're on to them right now, asking more questions, because their statement left us with more questions than answers. And that's crisis management 101, what not to do. Don't write a statement making claims that can literally soil your already on the bottom of the floor reputation, LAPD. It's not a good idea. It's literally not a good idea. So I really want to encourage y'all to, since you can't talk to them on Twitter, X or whatever, you know, you can talk to them on YouTube, because LAPD HQ at LAPD HQ is the YouTube channel of the LAPD, you guys. And you might not encounter a lot of commentary or any post related to this. As you'll see, the videos are highly curated, but hey, what in the hell? Just leave your comments in wherever else you can get your comments made. Because, you know, LAPD, we would beg to differ that leaving questions for y'all that we do know you have a social media person, that we do know you have someone working in that PR office getting orders to type stuff. And, you know, it's quite shocking, you guys, that crisis managers didn't review the footage available on as many of the live streams as, you know, have been made available for the public record. See, LAPD, as much as you don't seem to understand live streaming, which is a wonderful new technology that will bring you guys always down to your knees if you are caught lying. Okay? It will literally, any attempts to gaslight, any attempts to, you know, blame shift or anything like that, it's not going to work on live stream, you guys. Now, I know it's a new technology. There's a lot of, you know, people above you, officers that did show up that apparently were all a bunch of rookies, you know, being told what to do by the higher ups that be, that were controlling the helicopters, that were controlling all the patrols that showed up, that were controlling the situation. So apparently you all don't have a shred of a clue what live streaming is and how it works and how it applies to y'all. See, live streaming is not like that camera that y'all put on whenever it's convenient. Oops, we forgot because everything was so crazy. So now the public has the ability to live stream y'all. In a second, we can have, literally, we have 234 people right now, LAPD. Right this second, there's 234 people witnessing what's happening in this screen. Okay? So if we have witnesses that see specific footage, even if they don't have the jurisdiction of living here in California, they're still witnessing and they still see what they see. So if y'all are going to want to really not see what's in the footage, well, good luck making y'all's case. Good luck making y'all's case, LAPD, as if you didn't already get shown that once you do have that video recorded evidence for yourself, even the mighty police departments that never admit to any liability, are never held accountable, can really get away with all manner of technicalities. Even y'all are brought to your knees. Doesn't matter how many higher ups you have that really want to protect you, that really want to, see what should just really be an embarrassment. I mean, it's like, if y'all don't feel the embarrassment, then please advise what in the hell y'all are taking. Because in what world did we all just witness exactly from so many angles what in the hell happened to be here? A day later with more questions than answers, with more patterns that we continue to document and establish for ourselves, as if we didn't go to L. Ron Hubbard way to exercise our First Amendment rights, and then y'all showed up, and then y'all just stood there. So what's this intimidation tactic really about, LAPD? What in the literal hell is actually going on? Type something, this time, press office, like actually think before you type. Don't just press buttons, push something out, and then we're going to read some sanitized BS pitch that literally has nothing to do with reality. And literally, instead of y'all digging out of the hole for whatever in the hell reason, you're so insisting in continuing to go, y'all's credibility is just on a free fall. And it's like, why are y'all sacrificing your credibility for these hotels and commercial buildings? Higher ups at the LAPD. Why is that happening? Why? Because again, it's one of those questions that we are having for ourselves. One of those questions that go, doesn't make sense. Like, why would they want to do this? Right, you guys? So shout out to 267 people that are now on the live LAPD. So you and OSA and RTC can all just sit back and relax because, we are allowed to ask you all the questions that we need to ask you. And, shout out to all of you in the chat that have been, sending a lot of commentary of support and statements of fact, because that's how it works, LAPD. That is actually how social media actually works. Okay, so y'all should really read the comments and see what's being said about y'all. Because, I posted a few of them, but, at some point I was like, okay, well, can't keep posting a million comments of literally the best points ever made. I mean, as if we're all not just seeing the same thing. I mean, that's what in the hell it's called. We are all seeing the same thing, you guys. Without the evidence, without the live streaming, without the video, we would be nowhere. We would be treated exactly how we were treated inside of those hotels. Everything was always our fault. Everything could just be blamed on us because, an executive didn't like the attitude we gave that day. And then all of a sudden, boom, ethics, boom, committee of evidence, boom, lock them up, send them to an RPF, whatever. Like, that was the willy-nilly, ethics things that they did at the hotel. When we didn't think we had rights, we thought we were, really getting somewhere inside a hotel when we were being abused because we were gullible AF as kids, LAPD. And Karen Bass, you that really told LA, oh my God, you guys really make me the mayor. I really want to help everybody. And then when that little receipt was pulled out by Caruso, well, weren't you literally at the podium with David Miscavige, Karen? And then you really went, oh, let me call Mike Rinder. I heard he's very good at, laundering images quickly. I mean, he did launder David Miscavige's image for decades. He did launder L. Ron Hubbard's image. He was his publicist. Imagine, you guys, the publicist of L. Ron Hubbard that went and dug him out of the grave and said, no, we can't live without L. Ron Hubbard's technology. What is the world going to come to if we stop locking kids against their will inside hotel rooms? What is the world going to come down to? So Karen Bass, that's who you really took PR advice to really find out what in the hell you got yourself involved in. And now you are the mayor. You are the one that has an unhinged LAPD department that seems to be just a free-for-all. As if we don't have the receipts to make our points now, Karen. As if we don't have already the names. And you just check with your police officers because they have records of all of this. So really check with them what type of evidence was provided when a little phone call was made out of that testing center accusing people, including but not limited to, of having BOMBs and GUNs. And we were recording everything at all times, all of us, from many different angles. So even if, if I'm doing something shady on the side, there's another person having an angle, and then all of a sudden they can also catch something because you never know when you're going to get, live streamed. And everyone on a public street is fair game. Oh, what are you doing? That's called transparency. And when you're up against all manner of highlighters that really want to gaslight with their little look over here, look over there. But you know what? It's not going to work, LAPD, because we do have a community of very, very highly informed, intelligent people in our comments. All the comments that you're seeing right now going through the screen, just read them. Read them for yourself. So you know that the people that are supporting us are not just, whatever Scientology has told you. Oh my God, they're so anti-religious. Oh my God, they don't want them to have access, unfeathered access to kids being locked up against their will. That's something that everyone in these comments, now 429 people, LAPD. See how the number just keeps climbing, more and more and more. So 439 people now want to know, why are kids getting their passports confiscated, including but not limited to, when they're supposed to be so-called volunteers? And why are they even being targeted to sign contracts, LAPD? Would y'all do that? Will y'all really do that? Will y'all really go, that 15-year-old, come to the LAPD because you're going to save the world and sign this contract, and all we need is a 501c to quickly make this transaction happen? I mean, check with your human trafficking person there at the LAPD. the one that's besties with Marisol Nichols, Scientologist, actress of the year that plays being a cop always for some reason. She's really obsessed with playing cops, and she's really obsessed with your department. You know, I said, we don't have it already. And you guys can check out that video, Marisol Nichols with the head of the LAPD Human Trafficking Division man. So all of those things are just LAPD. We're just having a hard time digesting the facts. Because contrary to whatever in the hell y'all might think, we're not against you. We are owed answers, and y'all are there being paid to enforce laws. Laws written in black and white. Okay? So go look at the human trafficking laws and explain to 454 people right now that are in the chat all the points that we just made about the passports disappearing, being confiscated, being nabbed by Scientology's executives. And you guys check out the community tab, because we just asked Mike Rinder to make a video about that specific little thing. You know, since he does have a foundation that it is supposed to be helping all manner of people escaping. And just so, you know, we cut to the real chase here, you guys. From the Aftermath Foundation, former SEER members tend to be industrious workers, but many have no employment history, nor have they been contacted with their family outside of Scientology. Would you have anything to do with having set up that structure yourself, Mike Rinder? Would you have worked with Robert E. Mangle and all of his other attorneys? Would you have ever paid the retainer yourself? Would they have ever represented you as a client? Do you have attorney-client privilege with them? Or do you not have nothing like that? Because that would be great to understand too. You know, the little history. Because I don't think you went into much detail about all of that in your book. Maybe you did, but you know, maybe you didn't. And then it goes further. Many have no formal education, bank accounts, driver's licenses, which is not a crime, you guys. I mean, plenty of kids would arrive there at 13 years old. Their parents dumped them there. Then all of a sudden, they were 35 and they couldn't drive because they've never been around a car that they could drive. They've never had the time to go get a driver's license. They've never even had that. And, you know, Scientology could claim, as, you know, I'm sure the little attorneys would like to advocate on behalf of their little client. They couldn't be more happy volunteering. They just didn't want to ever leave the hotel. So that's why they didn't have a driver's license. That's all. So yeah, no driver's license or credit history and experience with life skill most people take for granted. Well, you know what we really did take for granted for ourselves, Mike Rinder, is the confiscation, the systemic confiscation of all our legal valuable documents. Ones that we would have required had we really wanted to volunteer ourselves out of that situation that y'all got us into. But given the fact that, you know, you didn't just stop at the passport, you also went with like, well, we got the passport, but what about dead bondaging them? How do we dead bondage them effectively? So, you know, if they're really going to owe us $75,000, as it was in my literal case, approximately that much, believe it or not, Mike Rinder, then all of a sudden, you know, you really did have to think a lot about leaving, you guys, because as much as everybody jokes and is like, oh yeah, but who would be so stupid to pay that? Who would be so... Plenty of kids that were dead bondaged in these hotels by Debbie Cook definitely paid back. Definitely paid that freeloader. But don't worry, they definitely gave us discounts, right? Like, oh, you want to really pay? Oh, well, you know, there's all manner of ways we could discount this price as long as you really do have it on your credit card, and then we can just charge it all up. And then, you know, you'll have the debt, but, you know, at least you paid us. So that's how it went, you guys. They give you like steep discounts. So instead of 75,000, I believe it was like 35 grand that I ended up paying, or 40 grand. Just about that. Imagine that. My entire formative years stolen doing the bidding of a convicted, disgusting, indicted felon. My entire youth interrogating, asking disgusting questions, all watched by Robert E. Mangel's clients, including but not limited to Angie Trent, Marty Rathbun, and Claire. Weren't you an RTC? Was Robert Mangel your attorney because you were an RTC rep when you were, doing all the trademark stuff that he alleges RTC is all about? Because that would be also really important to understand, because the way that we recall RTC reps, and I don't know if in your case, you were just so different than all the rest of them that you didn't end up actually watching what was going on in those sessions. Because if you were an RTC rep, you were supposed to make sure that the technology was really, really applied. So that's why y'all gave yourselves access to every camera in the entire situationship, Robert. So that's why this whole pitch about how RTC only cradles and canoodles trademarks and is just a corporation that had, just go check that picture that's on the thumbnail, you guys. How many, pretty much almost like, I think, I don't know, rough estimate, you guys, just going by like maybe, I don't know, 40, 45 people. 45 RTC reps. Every base. Oh, Denmark had one. Australia had one. England had one. Latam, I think, got one later on. So every continent that had a Scientology person had an RTC rep there. And they were the top of the food chain. So this point that keeps being ignored by the LAPD, something that, it's literally written in y'all's laws about trafficking, right? Dead bondage, confiscation of passports, horrendous living quarter conditions, including but not limited to, having to shower as teenagers, starting at 15, with all manner of grown men. Because, yeah, we were told that we were adults and that it was not a problem. Just shower in front of all the men. They're all just going to be there. And, if you don't like it, become a Sea Org member and don't complain. Because that's all we were allowed to say. No, this is great. This place is so wonderful. We just, so great here to be in the Sea Org. Really going to save the planet right about now. So that takes us right back to the photo on this thumbnail. Right, you guys? Because the photo's a little blurry, gotta admit. A little hazy. Let's check it out. Let's see what we see here. What do you all think? Is this the guy, or is this not the guy? Because could be, or maybe it's not. So let's see if I can zoom in. That might be the most I can zoom in, you guys. So I did put the link in the bio, so you guys can literally click that link. Let's send Scientology PR press people that are in the business of putting all these PR statements for Scientology, you guys. Let's give them some traffic. Let's show them some traffic to this link that they put up with this man's photo of this article, which I thought was interesting, you guys, because if this is not him wearing a full-blown way to happiness, la, 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 no cane in sight, which is like, I was like, well, did he not have a problem then? Or is he walking okay? Or is he using that stick as a cane? I mean, I don't know. I really don't understand this, LAPD, but there's already 593 people on this live that I'm sure would love to understand, you know? We really love to understand this little article here that you guys, did get shouted out on by, literally by you guys. Source. Who's the source of this article, LAPD? Maybe your press people need some, amplifying glasses to read because, they did write it in very small letters, you guys. Kind of hard to see. If you don't understand social media, if you're doing PR like they used to teach it before, just write any old pitch and everyone has to shut the F up because we are the authority and authority supersedes everything, right, guys? Wrong, LAPD. Authority is not that. Abuse of power is a problem because you're not supposed to be abusing them. If that's not Justice 101, then I don't know what else is Justice 101, LAPD. Seriously. Serious talk, like literally. We don't understand the behavior that we're seeing and we're calling it out and we're allowed to peacefully call it out. So don't get pressed next time you see us and sneer at us because we even have that on camera. Sneering and every time we speak to y'all, when you just show up for no reason, you get really pressed and you get really like grumpy, like little grumpy. I'm like, why? Why are you guys so grumpy? What's going on? LAPD and the Church of Scientology are awarded by the Faith and Blue Initiative. Isn't that great, you guys? The Blue and by the Faith and Blue Initiative. The Los Angeles Police Department and the Church of Scientology win the National Faith and Blue Weekend contest. Oh, it was a contest, you guys. How fun. Illustrating how much can be accomplished when the law enforcement and the community work together. Oh, you guys. They really just want to work together. Oh, it's so sweet when you see everybody working so close together. A little too close together. And this is recent, you guys. Don't think this is a press release that Scientology, Church of Scientology source. Oh, excuse me, Church of Scientology International. So that's not Robert E. Mangle's client, Church of Scientology International, you guys. Church of Scientology International is the other the other attorney that's there with him, which is the one that threw me under the bus in front of the whole court. But, they're really, really pressed that we are following them with questions. Never mind, attorney Robert E. Mangle and rest of your friends. We, the kids that grew up stuck in those hotels, should not have to be the one asking the questions. So go back to your little friends at the corporate media who have treated you with gloves, cotton balls, little bibs, so you wouldn't complain, so you wouldn't, let us just be at peace. Well, you are advocating on behalf of including but not limited to people such as Debbie Cook, Marty Rathbun, Angie Blankenship, that had everything to do with our passport disappearing. And instead of giving us a quick answer right there in the street and be like, y'all, it's religious here. They can religiously take your passport. Y'all are just too dumb because y'all just went to 7th grade. So stop bothering us. I'm Robert E. Mangle. Here is me citing the law. Go check out this law that you would have to tell me, Robert, because I have no idea. Can't find the law. Cannot find it. And I've been looking all over the place. Well, maybe it's this, maybe it's that, maybe it's it. Literally nothing. But all you would have to do is be like, here, read it. Read the law. It was totally legal for you to get your passport confiscated. It was totally legal for you to be doing interrogations on adults because the law says that it is. And your Washington University degree could come in handy right about now. Maybe you can get together with the LAPD and maybe y'all write a statement together, a joint statement, a little joint statement. So yeah, Los Angeles, California, May 6, 2023. The LAPD and the Church of Scientology in Los Angeles have won the National Faith and Blue Weekend photo contest for the confidence, purpose, and togetherness of the volunteers shown in the massive Faith and Blue Weekend cleanup. Well. Isn't that great, you guys? I mean, let me see if I can expand this anymore. Hold on one second. Let me see if it's possible. Sorry, guys. I tried, but it's not. But y'all have, like I said, the link in the bio to check it out for yourself and expand it and make it real big. Get close to that. I haven't checked the chat because you guys know that I can't at the same time. But shout out to the mods that I'm sure are answering all the questions. And we will get to all of y'all's questions at the end. And definitely put it in capitals, you guys, because it helps me so much at the end to really go through it. And I really would like to answer as many questions as we can. So let's go with this here. So they really are winning the confidence, purpose, and togetherness of the volunteers shown in the massive Faith and Blue Weekend cleanup. Faith and Blue is a grassroots initiative that seeks to create safer, stronger, and more just and unified communities throughout partnerships among law enforcement professionals, residents, businesses, and community groups through the connection of local faith-based organizations. So that's cool, right, guys? Image caption. And here's, photo cred for all of you that can read, because that's pretty small. All of you at the LAPD that really could explain to the 674 people that are now in our live LAPD. So the numbers keep coming up. More and more people are having questions, and y'all should also take some questions that they're going to ask me. Because they're going to ask me, but maybe y'all can really think about the questions that are being asked so that your next statement is not just utter tone deafness epitomize. Because right now, utter tone deafness epitomize is the most sanitized way we can talk about your statement without getting unprofessional, which is it's really not our intent. We really need to get to the bottom of this. Faith and Blue Community Cleanup, co-sponsored by the Church of Scientology. Oh, co-sponsored, you guys. Oh, isn't that great? Wonder what that means. Would that mean that, they're paying a little something to co-sponsor? Or in what way are they sponsoring? Because, maybe Karen Powell could be brought out of the hole, wherever in the hell she is, and start typing that. Or, the spokeswoman that's always used to quash all crisis management of Scientology, you guys, and learn that name. Karen Powell is the one that, has put up a lot of statements that we haven't even got to audit those yet, you guys. We haven't even begun to audit those, but there's all manner of statements by Karen Powell where she has gone on the record stating, what we can easily dispel as lies. But anyways, we digress. Let's get Karen Powell out of the hole to answer what in the hell type of co-sponsorship y'all are having for yourselves. Because again, our 7th grade education might be getting in the way to understanding. And, if we don't get it, we're just asking y'all the question. What's co-sponsored? Co-sponsored by the Church of Scientology, Los Angeles. Oh, and wait for this one, you guys. And the Hollywood division of the Los Angeles Police Department. So really, really, really specifically Scientology and the Hollywood division of the Los Angeles Police Department, Faith and Blue Weekend in Hollywood brought together 50 community partners to clean and beautify the neighborhood. Beautify thy neighborhood. Well, you know what? This Mr. Perry does seem to live pretty close by. So maybe Mr. Perry, did want to wear a way to happiness little hat for himself and, lug around some trash and not walk around with his cane because he is wearing some sort of other stick here, or maybe he isn't him, you guys, and maybe that's another recruit that is helping the LAPD, because it'd be interesting to understand who the 50 community partners to clean up and beautify the neighborhood were, LAPD, because I don't know if y'all know, but soon you will know, because we got reached out by, a high-ranking executive that was in the know about how y'all were getting lured with all manner of cleanup. Oh, let's really help the LAPD clean up because, they really do like us cleaning. They really do like our volunteer work as well. They really do like us to help take off all the graffiti because that does, really help the community, as stated here by their own press thing that they wrote for themselves. Under the banner, unity in the community. You guys, literally kid you not, under the banner, unity in the community, more than 460 volunteers cleaned up 170 city blocks, washed 200 storefronts, and beautify some 1,300 square feet of spaces with a graffiti paint out. And you guys, once again, they've been doing this for decades. So maybe the LAPD really does like the quick access they get to 460 volunteers. I wonder if any of those volunteers have their passport and all of their documentation with them, LAPD, because, next time you're around them, maybe just ask them, yo, do you happen to have your passport? Do you know where your passport is by any chance? I mean, just a friendly question, not trying to figure out if you're from another country, so don't get pressed. I'm not trying to call ICE on you or anything, but just let us know. Is your passport with you by chance? Or are they just now, cancel that policy because they were going to get in trouble from the last federal child trafficking lawsuit that David cannot be found anywhere to be served on, making it very difficult. So now there's 716 people here, LAPD, that would love to have answers for themselves. So yes, under the banner, unity in the community, more than 460 volunteers were brought in. So, and they did clean a lot, you guys. And, the information that we have on the inside of how this program was working with the LAPD when she was around to supervise said program was that, Sea Org members would be used a lot of times. And guess what? The LAPD is so dumb because all they had to do was tell the Sea Org members, wear y'all's grubbies. Okay? So this is how you write it, you guys. Grubbies. Like this. Wear your grubbies, you guys. And that meant wear something disgusting because you're going to be cleaning all the time. And we want you to not look like you have a uniform, because then we look weird. 460 people doing a whole lot of cleaning all in a uniform, that creates out PR. So what's the opposite of out PR? In PR. And how do we in PR ourselves? Well, just wear, some old t-shirt that you clean with, and that was your grubbies. Not to be confused, okay, you guys? Not to be confused. And I really did see this little tactic that they're still operating right now, okay? And we're going to get to that right now. But this is the other thing they did. The other clothes that they use is called civvies, okay? So they would tell them, okay, y'all, today you're going to all wear grubbies, because y'all are going to do a cleanup project and we're going to really, clean the city and it's going to be great. And the LAPD is going to love us. And, we just have to do it every once in a while to show how wonderful it is to partner with us, showing up with 460 people, because we are very organized and we do just make all these people appear out of nowhere and everybody looks real happy. Hi, LAPD. I love getting graffiti out of everything that I never get to use for myself because I'm locked up inside of a hotel working literally nonstop. So there's your two names, you guys. You either have your grubbies or your civvies or your Sea Org uniform. And here, the civvies, this is what's being used with the kids from the testing center when they're being sent to MacArthur Park. So they go, y'all, we don't want you to be in that, weird little uniform that we do have you wear when you are stuck inside of that center. But if you're at MacArthur Park, just look real chill, look real undercover, look like, you just really want to sell a book. Because, what a better day to sell the writings of a convicted felon, that the day that these people, instead of wearing that uniform, they wear the other one. And at that point, they're not cleaning. So you still have to look upstat. You still have to look presentable. So that's just a little info for all of you there at the LAPD. So do you really understand how this institution works? Restaurants, including Shakey's and Pink Hot Dogs, set up tables of snacks and drinks for the volunteers. Home Depot and Garbo Grubber brought supplies. A mariachi band entertained the crowd, gathered in the parking, a lot of Hollywood's iconic Capitol Records building, and the volunteers provided the muscle. Shout out to Scientology providing muscle. You guys, shout out to Scientology that provides muscle. Where was that muscle brought from? Was it from other countries? Or was it from Angelinos that really wanted to clean for themselves? And would that muscle have included any minors? Because y'all saw my live, and if you didn't do it, I did have a live with first witness, something about surprise witness podcast. I'll have to put the link in the bio, but that was one of the questions that were asked. Why are kids involved? Like, don't adults think no, they don't think it's weird. You guys, the adults love to have the kids around. So there's plenty of kids that would have been made to clean because, nobody was too high and mighty unless you were Claire Headley, unless you were Debbie Cook, unless you were Angie Blankenship, unless you were Angie Trent, Marty Rathbun, Mike Rinder, Tom DeVocht. All of those executives, they never were grubbies. They never had to clean in the hotel at Florida, you guys. Apparently at Gold, even, according to literally ex-executive Jesse Prince, said, oh yeah, even the most executives had to do the slave work at Gold. But at Flag, no. At Flag, if you were a high executive, you didn't touch a rag. You gave white glove inspections like, this is dusty. This window is dusty. You have to redo this whole entire room. I'll come back in an hour at 3 a.m. to really check if you finished cleaning. So really clean this time, because when I come back, I don't want to. This is so dirty. This is such an over product. What did you guys do? Like, no wonder your stats are crashed. I mean, your area's so disgusting and dirty. I've given you till 3 a.m. and I can't go to sleep because y'all are just over product makers. You're slacking. This is so slack. Get your ethics in. So that was the sort of like the little cleaning inspection route. Okay, you guys? Delighted with the turnout of the LAPD Hollywood captain, thanked the Church of Scientology for its commitment to making Hollywood a safer and cleaner place. So apparently, you guys, all you need to do is clean, bring, volunteers that may or may not have been brought in from hotels that Scientology was running. I mean, we have the data from when it happened, you guys, so we can only speak to that. Did they just bring 400 volunteers out of nowhere that have no Sea Org contract or anything? Maybe, maybe not. But yeah, shout out to you, captain of the Hollywood LAPD, that I'm sure had nothing to do with overseeing what happened the other day, right? You had nothing to do with that. That just went completely over your head. You just said, I trust the rookies that arrived there. I trust the helicopter flying around. I trust that, couldn't be more confident in our execution of justice, given that everything is being live streamed. So if we type up BS statements, everything we say is literally going to create more problems, because that's the sickening, dwindling spiral of lies. Once you talk about lies here, then this doesn't make sense. Once this doesn't make sense, then that doesn't make sense. And this doesn't make sense, then everything just a bunch of nothing. Like nothing that you say can be trusted. Nothing. Faith in Blue founder Reverend Markle Hutchins, who arrived in Los Angeles from Atlanta, Georgia to launch the city's Faith in Blue weekend celebrations, was equally enthusiastic about the turnout. Isn't that great, you guys? Yeah, Scientology will make the turnout come. And you know what? If they really wanted to impress, because it sounds like this was like a very big deal for them, they really weren't going for that award. They really wanted to win it. So they said, okay, maybe they said, bring all the staff that we can get, put them in grubby, so everybody thinks that they're just like a volunteer Angelino that we pulled out of our you-know-what. And then let's also fluff it up with public. So let's make a lot of calls and say, yo, we really need to impress the LAPD. We really need to clean. We really need to volunteer. And yeah, they all bring your kids too. They would love it. There's going to be drinks at a restaurant and they might eat a hot dog. So why don't you bring all your kids, since they are adults and small bodies, and just make them clean the graffiti, give them the toxic stuff, clean it, the fumes, whatever. Just, they're going to love it. They're going to really, really love it. I mean, I was drinking pink dinner at 5, you guys, as you know. So I apparently didn't reach the stage of adult in a small body at that point, because I did really do something very, very stupid or very, very self-harming. And either way, who in the hell cares, or who in the hell knows? But here we go with including a special scouring at the Hollywood Boulevard on the eve of each year's Hollywood Christmas parades. After each cleanup, volunteers hand out copies of The Way to Happiness, written by, listen to this, you guys. I mean, really, literally, trigger warning, get yourselves a bag, because this might be the time you're going to start projectile vomiting. Right about now. Written by humanitarian and Scientology founder L. Ron Hubbard. So, a convicted, indicted felon being pitched as a humanitarian. Can you make that make sense, Captain of the LAPD? And just Google for yourselves. I mean, I'm sure you guys can get a lot more info from the French government. I mean, I know that's way above your jurisdiction, but might help your investigation to be like, what's the receipt? Why does this YouTuber keep saying that L. Ron Hubbard is a convicted, indicted felon? We thought he was an American-born god. I mean, that's what the people at the L. Ron Hubbard exhibit told us when they brought us through the exhibition that Mike Grinder put up to sanitize his image. And we did see pictures of him Boy Scouting, and we did see pictures of him wanting to, be a real big humanitarian. But, y'all have never gone inside the hotel. So you always just get shown what they want you to see, and then you take it all at face value. And yeah, it sucks to be that naive for y'all at the LAPD. It really does suck, because y'all are being taken for a ride. Your reputation is being soiled. And in what world is that beneficial to you? The 460 people, like LAPD, with 656 on our live right now. Imagine we went on a whole rampage to get LA City involved. Y'all, the LAPD needs help, y'all, at cleaning their stuff. And, they don't want to get rid of these hotels and commercial buildings where minors' passports are being locked up, or were being locked up when I was there. So, yes, LAPD, speaking from my own experience. So, I don't know if they're doing it still, but you know what? Are they able to just walk out of the hotel whenever they feel like it? Because you know what? I think we have that on camera too. Like, oh, oops, Sebastian can't leave the radios of where they are. But he does go to another building to sleep, and he does come back there. So check with your human department, trafficking, whatever, lieutenant, to see if that counts, you know? Because it might count. I mean, we might be completely, off our rocker. But here we go with the beach cleanup volunteers hand out copies of The Way to Happiness written by the humanitarian founder L. Ron Hubbard. The Way to Happiness is a common sense, non-religious moral code with 21 precepts to guide people to make better choices in their lives. Imagine that all of these executives and parents went. Well, we did hear that Owen Hubbard was a convicted, indicted felon, and he was, on the run. But, governments wanted to destroy the only hope for humanity. So we understand why he took Shelley Miscavige on a ship to really make him his messenger, because a 12-year-old should have really been floating around on a ship with him as he's evading actually going and doing his service, because he did just dip out on court, you guys. And he got convicted in absentia, because check it out for yourselves, LAPD. That's what's on the public record. So call out your people in France and be like, is any of this true or is this not true? Because The Way to Happiness is not a religious moral code, you guys, but that's all it took for L. Ron Hubbard to convince all our parents and all executives that, well, if L. Ron Hubbard wrote The Way to Happiness, then how could he be abusing kids? How? Well, he didn't write the abuses on pamphlets that were going to be broadly distributed, you guys. That's how he wrote a BS pitch. Another one of these BS pitch. Oh, really be happy by doing whatever. Don't do things to others that you wouldn't like to do to you. Well, you know what? We were being locked up against our will. So why in the hell were we being forced to do that? Not as a choice, but as something that we have to do. Because the technology said, lock them up. The technology said, do not let them leave the room on their own determinism, as the auditor's code states. Write that in your notes, Robert E. Mangle. Because that's not very religious, is it? Is that false imprisonment? Being locked up against your will, being questioned, interrogated, while it's all being video recorded? Or is that not false imprisonment? Because that would be great for you and your little team of buddies that are the advocates of corporations. Like you said, you're the advocate for a corporation, RTC. But you know what? That corporation does have people, Robert. So maybe Shelly and Dave scammed you, and Marty and Claire. So apparently all of them are your clients, or you represented them, or how did that work? We don't understand a shred of a thing. We don't. I never had any meetings with whoever in the hell was the representatives of the Flag Service Organization. Never. Never did anyone say, well, Serge, if you really want to leave and you really want your passport back, why don't we, hook you up with an attorney that can speak on your behalf and, help you navigate what you're stuck in? Because that would have been useful, Robert, given that I had no shred of a clue what any of the law in a different country where I didn't even go to school enough to even understand the First Amendment right. Isn't that great? Isn't that great that you didn't even learn the First Amendment right and you're being brought to another country where if they tell you to shut the F up or we're going to send you to wash dishes, that was the law. That was the law, Robert. And we took your client at full good faith. L. Ron Hubbard really knows y'all are really going to help a lot. And we took that pitch as gullible, naive children. So think about this whole Way to Happiness stuff. Because you know what? It's smelling disgusting. This whole, the Way to Happiness. Nothing like writing a fake pitch to cover up for another lie. Right or wrong, Robert? To learn more about Scientology, churches host members of the community for the events of every size and description in cities all over the world. Visit the interactive timeline created by Scientology Media Productions on the Scientology website. So this couldn't be more an international recruiting thing that they're really wanting to, host members of the community, you guys. Oh, free sandwiches, you guys, free refreshments, free hot dogs. And then all of a sudden, don't you want to be part of us in our hotel? They're always recruiting. They're always pressed to make statistics, you guys. Apparently, these people do get run on a week to week to week to week. Every week they have to do it. Every week they have to show. What did you do all week? Nothing? We're giving you birthing. We're feeding you. We are giving you the L. Ron Hubbard technology, and your statistics are crashed, and you did nothing this week. It's not an option in there. It's not an option at all, you guys. There's no way you can say, I don't want to work today. There's no way you can say, I'm tired. There's no way you can say, my back hurts. There's no way to put a shred of boundary, because you will always lose with these people. They will always find a reason that, well, you know what? If your back is almost broken and you can barely walk, then you know what? We're going to have you write letters all day. So you don't need to walk or do anything heavy lifting. So write letters all day. So and there's people are, you guys, plenty of people. So I wanted to show you all too. So is this the man that the LAPD has pitched in their statement as having nothing to do with the church, as he does look real close, very close, that's all we can say. We cannot make the full, I know for sure, but let's just check out a photo to compare it. And this has already been made fully legal because the corporate media, you guys, shout out to them, did take it upon themselves to write a little article and publish this man's name in full. So don't get mad at us that literally this is public information, and we are trying to understand and get to the bottom of what in the literal hell is going on and why does nothing make a shred of sense. So let's see, let me show you. Here is his Facebook, you guys. Here's a photo of him. Patrick Naughty List warning note. Oh, damn, you guys. I guess we missed the warning note or the warning sign from Patrick that Santa will bring you Patrick Naughty List warning. So, isn't that great, you guys? Hold on. So, seeing that photo and seeing the other one looks real close, you guys. I have to admit, I'm still living a little bit of a shred of a maybe, because to me, they have that air. I don't understand why he doesn't have a cane. So I am questioning that. How many times is Mr. Perry really walking around with a cane? Is that his real MO, or is that another, not his MO? Because it could be, or it could be not. So we don't know. So all we have is a picture to go by as a receipt to question the statement where the LAPD did take it upon themselves to tell us all. And we have to quote them so we don't misquote them. You guys, let's see the little statement they wrote just so that we can, compare notes. Because that's all we got. That's all our First Amendment allows us to do, you guys. Ask questions. And we might not be guaranteed a shred of an answer. So that's already a given. The Los Angeles Police Department is aware of a video circulating depicting an altercation between two individuals near a Church of Scientology's building. Both parties were transported to the Hollywood station for further investigation. Imagine that the people that called it to the LAPD, and LAPD, one of those people being my husband, Michael Havoc, who does know some stuff about police, because y'all should really check the record of his father, who's literally been in the LAPD his whole life. So my own husband's family is and was and served Los Angeles his whole life. Just FYI. So we are an LAPD family. So we couldn't be more literally nauseated to have to be having these conversations with y'all like this, but we're calling out the behavior that we're seeing. And I already said a million times that it's not every single last shred of cop who's corrupt, you guys. The people that are corrupt know that they are. It's that simple. People that are not corrupt know that they didn't do a shred of a thing. So it doesn't apply to every single last shred of cop. It's not demonizing the police. It's not, no, we need the police. The police is necessary for a city of this size to operate. But we cannot operate with just shams and lies. That's what we cannot do. And imagine that we see our friend, someone that I personally grew up with, get beaten on a video. I wasn't there to witness that exact thing. I saw it on the video. And then I saw him coming, and you can see it on my live stream, LAPD. Literally go look for it. I closed down to his head because he had a very red, bumpy thing right here. And I was like, what in the literal hell? I mean, we just gotten there. I was so confused. Like, what's going on? So in what world does a person that you have on video recorded camera, the full-blown interaction, end up also getting arrested, being told that it was felony stalking, where he was getting publicly arrested, publicly humiliated in front of everybody, not just the people that were there, but also the people that were on the live stream, LAPD. So really do clarify that for yourselves. That's the stuff that's not making sense. How do two people end up there when you had the evidence, full knowing that the video shows what it shows, LAPD? You cannot gaslight us into unseeing what in the hell we have a receipt for. If we didn't have it, then y'all would have the plausible deniability. Then y'all could tell us, it's very hard to do our job, you guys, so we really have to just go with what he said and she said and he said and he said. And, you know, yeah, your job is hard, LAPD, but you are paid well, aren't you? Because we just listed the salaries of some of the police officers that showed up for nothing, for no reason whatsoever, to just stand in front of us for God knows what in the hell reason. Literally, like you just send them there. They don't talk to you. They sneer at you. They act condescending. I mean, y'all can see it in the video yourselves. Like we're a pest. Like we're doing something wrong. As we're all literally talking to y'all. And here's the building where we were locked up. And here's the section where we were interrogating people. I mean, listen, we're literally having this conversation like this. Oh yeah, and look, there's a guy that showed up. That's what it's called being aware, LAPD. I mean, this man already had shown up in a lot of our videos before, and there have already been very troublesome situationships that have shown up for which you have done nothing. Because y'all have shown up and put people in handcuffs at the blink of an eye when Shannon calls y'all. So little Shannon there at the center, for whatever reason, she's immunized. She doesn't have to follow the law because she's inside of a hotel. And then all of a sudden, the laws don't apply to her. She can just make up. Oh, you know what? I think I see a GUN. I'm very afraid for my life. Bye. And then LAPD just goes, oh my God, Shannon is having a panic attack. Let's go do some therapy on Shannon. Let's really show up and, you know, make sure she's not having a nervous breakdown, right? or wrong? Or why are y'all showing up? Because then your other little friends also said, oh yeah, there's that guy that we have a file of here, LAPD. Look, we have all these files on them. Oh, here's Chris without a hellcap. Oh yeah, I think he had a BOMB. And where's the receipt? Where did you see? No, we don't have it. But it's called a delusion. Are y'all delusional in that hotel? Security guards that literally are supposed to secure the buildings, not cause more problems for Robert E. Mangle and his friends. Not just keep calling just because you feel like having them, because you feel really protected and important, that you're able to have them at your beck and call like that. I'm sure that feels real powerful to y'all. Oh, let me just call them and they'll be here. No second. 4, 5, 6, 8 patrol cars. And I'll have these people walking around with a cell phone. Literally, where is Dora? Literally, they're all like, what in the hell is going on inside of these buildings? In what world is having the curiosity over what in the hell they keep seeing? It's not like if they were all so clear and everything was so whatever, nobody would be there. Nobody would be wasting their time. Moreover, and as we told y'all already, if this was a situation where adults wanted to do whatever in the hell they wanted to do in there, I doubt that many people would be that pressed to be there every day. It really would ruin the fun, to be honest. Would ruin, like, the only reason that you'd be there is because, again, as if Jenna, myself, Liz Gale, Aaron Smith Levin, Laura, all kids that grew up in Scientology know what we are up against, who we are up against, and what they're doing exactly inside those buildings. So the fact that y'all have been given tons of access to see what is in the hell in those buildings, but you never get the real access to, you never would have gotten access to Claire Headley's office, as if Claire Headley wasn't the head of RTC in PAC. She was RTC PAC, right, Claire? Before you became the supercargo, the third in command, the third most high up, you were also RTC PAC. So by all means, contribute to the record. Tell us, was the LAPD getting invites to the RTC office? And were they getting access to that other office that was inside the RTC office, the one that the public never could see, the one that only us, the kids, were approved to go and see and have little chats with? In my situation, not with Claire, you guys, I barely knew Claire. She only knew when I got sent to the prison hole. Claire was there for that. She's witness to that. Full-blown witness to that. But then she was shipped off to Los Angeles. So all of these questions are coming up for you, Claire, because you were the RTC rep PAC, or were you not? Am I completely wrong about that? Were you just the supercargo? Were you just went back and got promoted to be supercargo? Did you ever, approve anyone's OT eligibility? Were you ever in that type of processing? Because that would be another great question to ask you, Robert E. Mangle. Now that I just thought about it, how about the OT eligibilities, Robert E. Mangle? Because you know what? The OT eligibilities have everything to do with anybody who pays to go OT3, pay. All of a sudden, they have to do the most, and it's known, you guys, as the biggest sec check that you could possibly ever put yourself into Scientology, because it's called eligibility for a reason. They have to invite you to do the OT levels. RTC has to invite you by letter, is how they were doing it back then. I don't know if now it's by email or they're still doing the letter, because probably the letter, but maybe not. I don't know. Who knows? But at the time it was, I got my invite, you guys, to do my OTs, because I already did my OT eligibility and I already did get questioned and interrogated about all manner of felonies that I have either admitted I did fully and then went and handled, or didn't come up, because not every single last shred of Scientologist is, an unindicted, self-admitted felon, you guys. It would be a lie to say every last shred of them is, Although, I don't know, once they're implicated inside the hotel, trafficking their own kids, giving their passports to the executives, that would have never come up as a withhold inside of those hotels. Believe you me. And if I was interrogating one of those parents and said, do you have a Miss Withhold? They would have never gotten away with saying, oh, yeah, sir. My Miss Withhold is that I gave the recruiter that recruited my 14-year-old the other day the passport so that they could join the Sea Org. And, I do think that the law says I'm not supposed to give the passport of a minor to a random. So I'd be like, what the hell are you talking about? So, yeah, there's plenty of people that might think that couldn't be any less implicated. But, fun fact, you guys, fun little fact that we did post for ourselves here on the community tab, which is none other than a little hat that says, it is only illegal if you get caught. And apparently that's the motto of the Scientology parents and executives. They're really going with that. We haven't never been caught. We just did it all. David Miscavige harmed us if we did get out for ourselves. If we were in high-ranking positions, then the approved talking point is David Miscavige is unhinged. He's crazy. He's really bad. Put Debbie Cook in a trash can. Threw Mike Rinder against a tree wearing a terry cloth robe. Marty Rathbun, again, Marty Rathbun, 5 times his size. Mike Rinder, 5. These are 6 feet men, tall men. But apparently only David Miscavige ever did anything wrong inside of those hotels. And Claire and Mike and Marty Rathbun and Angie Trent and Angie Carino Blankenship. She was Angie Carino Blankenship and Debbie Cook. They all were like, yeah, we were great. We were doing great. But David did ruin it. So it doesn't make sense, LAPD. It doesn't make any sense. And let's see what our community of wonderful 566 people that are here watching us. Shout out to all of you, you guys. I think this is our highest ever. Isn't that great? It's a great statistic to have in Scientology. When you have the highest of the highest, they all make a big hoo-ha about it. It's like, oh my God, you really did make the most money you've ever made for the hotels. You're so great. Such an asset. And yeah, so today, you guys have made a highest ever. So you're all very up statistics. So shout out to all of you. Let's see. And also, like, if you didn't put questions throughout the chat and you have a question, then leave it at the end. Question: did they block all comments or delete critical ones if they were only blocking certain comments? No, they just literally blocked. You can't comment. I don't know if they started blocking comments and then somebody said, oh, hell no, you have to just block them all completely. Don't know if it's one or the other. But like I said, we're all allowed to ask questions. And if they're not taking the comments there, then they should be taking them on their Instagram. And their Instagram, what are they going to do? Block every last thread of posts that they have for themselves. And trust me, they promote themselves a lot. So there's plenty of posts that doesn't make sense with what we're seeing. So yeah, it wasn't blocked on all of that. And oh my God, you guys, 10 super chats. That is another highest ever, you guys. You're so cool. Matrix Tech Solutions, thank you so much for your super sticker. Thank you. Harley, Serge, you are an inspiration. Thank you, Harley. You guys are our inspiration. Don't forget, we all needed this oxygen that we didn't have. So our growth is a combined effort of all of us joining forces and understanding that as survivors, we're not unorganized. We're not outnumbered, we're unorganized. And this getting together here, there's almost 600 of you now here. That's Martin Luther King. So he said that as we're only out organized, not outnumbered, because there's more of us that have suffered injustices, unfortunately, than not. So let's just continue getting organized. So thank you so much for all of your support. Larry B, the past 2 days have been riveting. It is nice as an old timer to watch real resistance in real time by the youth. Well, thank you, Larry. And join that resistance, old timers, because y'all should just, call out the corruption, call yourselves out. If you know of something you did that was wrong, call it out. It shouldn't just be the youth. It should not be the youth on the front lines as if we already didn't carry y'all's water literally our whole life and not with consent. And that's something that y'all have to, figure out. So we appreciate the support, but you know what? There's plenty more people that can get on the record, that can provide statements under oath to investigators at the FBI. They cannot build a case by themselves going back to that little hat. It's only illegal if you don't get caught. Well, how are they supposed to catch you if literally everyone's playing dumb? How is that abuse ever going to be stopped on kids if there's not a shred of parent repudiating what they did in a real manner, not sanitizing it, not saying, oh, I was a victim too? No, it doesn't work like that. We need answers. But yeah, the youth is doing it, and shout out to them. And all of you old timers are responsible for your own thing. Like, don't even come to us to ask us what needs to be done. Y'all can figure it out. Use those creative juices and don't blab about it, and don't get pressed you're getting called out, because that's just a waste of y'all's time and a waste of our time and the bandwidth that we just don't literally have for y'all. We've waited way too long. So y'all can check the record and see, whoa, how many years has this been going on? 74. So what world are we having to discuss these things where you were the ones that were the adults in the room? You were the ones that made the deals with these executives. So yeah, the first old timers need to get called out, because it shouldn't have taken this long for kids to be advocated for. So that's just that. Peggy Cole, check Outcomes Karma. They have a very interesting clip on our favorite cop. Oh, cool. Well, thank you for that, Peggy. We'll have to check it out. Jennifer, thank you so much, Jennifer. I really appreciate your super stickers. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. You're so wonderful. Like, you always send me so many. Thank you, you guys. It's so sweet. I really appreciate it. Rainy day puddles. Aaron waited a good amount of time for the police to come to the assault location before everyone went looking for him. Yes, you guys, and we'll be actually doing a more in-depth analysis as to what happened that day. I'm still having to literally process it for myself, and there's so much footage, there's so many things to actually go through, even though we were there. And, lucky for us, there's plenty of things to still show up with. So we're organizing something, and we will share with y'all, all the inconsistencies. My husband called the LAPD, minutes after this happened, and he had to go look for the suspect that did this. Well, for the person we caught on video doing this. How about that? Not a question. Just love you, Serge. Love everything you say, and especially the way you say it. You're literally the best. Well, you're the best. Thank you, Don. And Jennifer, didn't seem more like the pit belonged to the couple that arrived to pick it up. Yep. I wonder if they allow him to walk the dog, and if they even know what the dog has bit so many people. Yeah, it's a good question, Jennifer. I mean, we saw the immediate change of energy from that dog being nervous and not in a good place, and not a good place to represent service animals, and not out of the fault of his own. It's just he's not Foxy, let's put it that way. Foxy is model example of a service dog, you guys. That's Laura's dog that she was with us yesterday on our live. She was super sweet. Mummers, Serge, it's Joe's birthday. Oh my God, Joe, happy birthday. Shout out to Joe. Of course you didn't tell me. Well, happy birthday to you, Joe. And Kathy, thank you so much, Kathy. Thank you for your super sticker. And thank you, Julie B, for your super sticker as well. Let's see what other comments we have, you guys. My nose is itching. No more kids in Scientology. Exactly, you guys. Enjoy the silence. The Cobb search, the one that you were focusing on in front of the house, was so shady. Yeah, I don't know, you guys. We're just capturing information that we see. You know what I mean? So I with you. I'm like, what's going on? Why do you keep yawning? That's such a weird thing, you guys. I'm like, why does this guy keep yawning? Like, are you tired? Are you not getting enough sleep? Are you being put on a Cirque schedule by chance? Um, Christy Spalding, my current question to Scientology is, why are children being locked and housed inside the COS hotels away from their parents and being made to work? Children aren't able to give consent. That's right, Chelsea. And that's a very good question that they should start answering. You know, why are these children being locked and housed inside these hotels? And unfortunately, it even gets worse, you guys, because it's not like the children are like working at the Fort Harrison and get to stay in a fancy, nice room for themselves and, really feel like they're living it up. No, they're there to be the mates. They're there to do the work. You have to pay. I think it's like at the time it was like $300 a night for the Fort Harrison because they were saying it was a 5-star hotel. They were always trying to get to be a 5-star hotel, but they could never do it for some reason because they needed to get, I don't know, some hotel thing, and they would never do it. So cool. Great to see you, Ethical Taylor. Hi, Grande for Truth. Shout out to Not That Helen. I know she was staying out late for us, so we really appreciate that. But it's okay if she went to sleep. Joe, happy birthday. And your happy birthday message to the LAPD is we are watching LAPD. So we are watching. We literally can go on a live in a second and we will have witnesses watching what in the hell is going on. Literally accountability for LAPD. Love your work, Serge. Thank you, Lily. That's exactly what we're asking for, you guys. We deserve accountability. That's what this journey is about. And having the receipts. This is not a hoo-ha. Let's all just act deranged and be hating on the police. Like, no. I've talked to plenty of cops that were not compromised. But I have to say, my interactions with any cops having to do with the Scientology problem have always been compromised. So those are the ones that I'm speaking about. So just so you don't get twisted. Jazzer16, we have questions, LAPD. How can you act so poorly? LAPD is willing to act so poorly in front of cameras being recorded. LAPD, what are you doing when the cameras are not on? I mean, that is the power and balance that we have, right, you guys? Like, the cameras have not always been on. Live streaming has not been a thing. OSA, all of Mike Rinder's proteges, leftover proteges that are actively fair gaming and concocting all these plans as if this whole situationship reeks, you guys. Nothing about it makes sense. There's so many things that are like, wait, what? We know Scientology like the back of our hands. We were there. We know how they think. We know how they operate. We know the policies of L. Ron Hubbard. Nobody there has their own person, like they all have to follow the policy. So thank you, Nothing But Love. I appreciate that. Serge, you made me tear up with your testimony in front of LAPD waiting for Aaron's release. Your voice is critical. Thank you, Arcad. I mean, that moment just happened organically, you guys, as I was talking to Jenna and Lara, and then all of a sudden, all the kids turned their cameras to our conversation. And, all of a sudden it hit me like we were told he wasn't going to get released. We were told that we're going to keep him for 2 days. you know, we were working behind the scenes to talk to legal competent counsel that can literally start guiding us and helping us. And, even at that point, there was only so much anyone could do because everything relies on this process and he has to be processed and we have to go through all this process, and none of us knew what was being done to him. None of us knew the horrors that were taking place. But again, we lived this hell as kids, you guys, and, call it a sixth sense, call it your intuition, call it perception. Like, we could smell the rat. That shit was just stinking all over the place, and once the cameras came, it just became a moment of speaking the truth and asking these people the questions that they're refusing to answer for themselves. So, we hope that Karen Bass called that office and told them, why am I getting smeared all over social media? I'm Karen Bass. I'm the mayor. I don't want to lose my credibility. I already told everyone how I was so dedicated to really look into this Scientology problem, because back in the day when I really did share the podium with David Miscavige, Karen Bass, you're there and you're blabbing and you are endorsing as a full-blown politician that you were back then. You weren't a kid in an adult body situationship, were you, by chance? Because we would love to understand that right about now. If you really, went through your campaign lying about caring about this issue, an issue that hasn't changed. That hasn't changed whatsoever. Imagine you're the mayor that has all the power, that has the chief of police on speed dial, that literally has God knows how many staff of your staff people should be literally alerting you about what the hell is going on. But, I guess it doesn't matter to you. I guess it doesn't matter. And you guys, we didn't see a shred of change on the LAPD's side as they still continue to show up to harass us the next night, because it is called harassment, LAPD. If you're coming and, going, wee here we are, we're going to be doing something to y'all because you're here. Like, yeah. And, we do have PTSD from y'all showing up and propping up, drumming up, whatever, and just immediately ending up in handcuffs. Like, how is that our rights? If we didn't have LA streets literally screaming at y'all to do y'all's jobs, I mean, lucky for us, we're learning our rights. Lucky for us, we are learning what in the hell it means to have one shred of right applied. First Amendment, one that we've never practiced or ever been told we could have for ourselves. So we do have good mentors, and we are very thankful for the community rallying behind us, observing what in the hell's going on in those centers, and being sketched out AF to the point, you guys, that, they might as well be volunteers. And you, Robert E. Mangle, can rest assured there's not one single streamer outside of those disgusting hotels or commercial buildings that is being asked to, submit their passport to somebody, because, we'll keep y'all's passports secure, and, y'all stream, and let's really clean the world, and let's really start out. That's not what this is about. Everybody that's there shows up whenever in the hell they want, leaves whenever in the hell they want, streams whatever in the hell they want to stream, says whatever in the hell they wants to say. And yes, y'all have permission to watch our streams and put your $1,000 attorneys an hour to make the case. Because I'm sure attorneys of Scientology could really find ways, if they wanted to use what's already in the record. If there's really a case to be made, it's already there. We're literally giving you access to y'all. So we're not scared that y'all keep looking into us as if you're going to find whatever. Like, we're not y'all. So let's put that clear to you, OSA. We are not you at OSA. So stop projecting on everyone else, because this is a journey of transparency and asking questions that we are allowed to ask. How many of us are walking in a dark place because society is not offering resources to help us? So either the drugs, the streets, or the church. And when God awakens you to reality, then you go. Yeah, I mean, Capri, don't get me going into this other place now, but there's a TikTok video that was just posted, you guys, where this Scientology person going to MacArthur Park, runs into a homeless person on the elevator, and let's just say that the treatment wasn't good. And let's just say that in Scientology, they are there to make the able more able. So anyone that's a bum is already like, dehumanized. Be like, ew, you're so degraded and disgusting. You're worth nothing to us. And there's another video uploaded from Angry Gay Pope where literally in front of the Citizen Commission of Human Rights, they're hosting off a bum to get him to just move, like get out of here. Like grotesque behavior that took place at LAPD. Go check it out for yourself. Go literally Google that. Citizen Commission of Human Rights, homeless man. And you'll see that, you guys. You'll really literally see it, which is absolutely horrible. So what you were saying is correct. People lose faith in their life and they're going through a dark place, and there's all manner of ways where you can just go, bye, goodbye, and especially when you've been through this much trauma. I mean, it's a miracle that we've lived to tell. Serge, I just sent an email to Aaron about Golden Air Productions having actors to go out to the Scientology Jacinto to film at the compound where Valerie Light had to escape in one of their trunks. Why? Yeah, and Vita, they're literally mostly moving everything to the center here in Silver Lake because people didn't want to go all the way to Hemet anymore. It became harder and harder for them to grab people because, I mean, again, it's like the word is out, you guys. The word is getting out more and more. And yes, it's going to be harder for them to recruit people, but they're still going to be able to recruit people as long as they're not confronted on the actual crimes that they need to be confronted on, such as confiscating passports of minors. Boop, 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 boop. Thank you guys. You guys are very supportive in the chat, and I really appreciate it. Oh, this is another good point right here. Patrick had about 5 to 6 knives on him that he put into a bag in front of the police. Why would someone need that many knives? I mean, imagine, you guys, none of us bring a shred of a weapon ever to these things. I mean, I can speak to everything that I've observed until now. And any calls that have been made that have ended up with people detained in cuffs, which nobody ever wants to just have the police show up and do that to you, especially if it's as easy as just, Shannon having a little tissy fit. And then all of a sudden she just gets her little power trip and goes, oh, I'm going to ruin their lives. It's time to call. It's time to make up something. It's time to have a hissy fit. And, the little cops will show up here faster than I can blink my eyes. And in what world are those knives just literally being put in? Why were you having all those weapons with you if you're just walking your dog? Who goes walking their dog with 5 knives? I mean, I don't know. Just makes no sense. It makes no sense. Put that picture next to another picture of him. I agree, Joe. And I'm sorry, you guys. I just I wasn't able to grab the pictures, but maybe I'll put them on the community tab because the thing is, it's so blurry, and with the streaming, it's hard to amplify them to see them as big. So that's why, I mean, y'all can check out his Facebook, and then you'll see a lot of pictures, and y'all can check out this link that I put there. And let's see what you guys see. Like, use your inner detective. It's him. Looks like a torch. Looks like a different guy. A side by side would help. What's the date? It was May 16, I believe, May 16, 2023. And in his Facebook, there is no he posts a lot of stuff, but there's like a period during this alleged press release and Facebook where there's nothing. And usually it's not like him to not post. So it's sort of like weird, like, again, is it him? Did he not post? Was he really cleaning the streets for like a whole 10 days and then he didn't? So I know all of you guys wanted a side by side. I'm sorry. I didn't have time to edit it out. And then, yeah, I'm sorry, but I'm sure y'all can just do the side to side yourselves. And I think it's better like if you do it, because then you can see a lot of different Facebook, because I had a hard time also being like, well, what photo? Like, we're not going to know for sure. I don't think from this just one photo. So, May 2023. Yeah. He didn't look disabled to me when he flipped on Aaron. I mean, that's the thing, you guys. Like, and that's sort of like, again, it's like when things like that don't make sense, it's just like it reeks OSA. We know how OSA works. And y'all can ask Mike Rinder. He knows how dirty they would get. There were no boundaries. There were no limits. They play the victim so well. That's their best thing. Oh my God. Like, so Willie, unless he has a twin, that is him. I mean, I agree. I kind of see that. I get that vibe. And here, let's see it again, you guys. Let's just bring it back quickly and see if I show y'all. I mean, I get the vibe of him, but we can't just say if you're not sure, it's better to say you're not sure than to say no, it's for sure. And I mean, I just don't have the certainty because of the blurriness of the photo. But I find it that it doesn't not make sense, right? Like it makes sense. Like we've seen him very friendly with the people there at the building. I think it was actually William Streets that brought it up and said that, yeah, he's very friendly with them. And, they don't act like they don't know each other or that they're just some random neighbor that never spoke to anyone there. So that doesn't make sense. And I don't know. Again, it's like, why would you be pressed? I mean, and for anybody in the Black community that has gone through so much pain and harassment and abuse of power by the powers that be, that have been literally enslaved and brought to this country to live, a totally different experience in America. I mean, we would know how that feels because we were minors there being used as slaves, unfortunately for us. So this is, let me see. Can you guys see it? Yeah, that's the biggest I can get it to here on this thing. So that's why I feel like even the side to side, if I can't get it bigger than this, you can get it bigger in your phone because it's fully expandable. It'll start getting a little blurry, but just try to go through different photos and see, because the LAPD was quick to say that, nope, doesn't look it has no association. I mean, let's finish the the thing, you guys, that they were saying actually. The individual arrested. Okay, so then they called the addition to interview the parties involved. Detective reviewed a significant amount of video evidence. After much consideration, only one individual was arrested for battery. The individual arrested has no known association with the Church of Scientology. Like, you guys, I mean, again, LAPD PR department, why would you be so pressed to launder their image with your PR department? Why? Why was that done? In what world do you owe that level of explanation to the public? I mean, literally, make it make sense. In what world are you interested in making that distinction in your release? I understand that, Scientology could have put their own release and said, no, we have nothing to do with him. We really swear to God, he couldn't have been hired by, Robert Mengel, who tells another person, who tells another person, who tells a PI, who tells another person. So there's a lot of nebulousness down the chain line. So they really can claim to have no thread of a clue when they have literally historically been doing this, just because indicted, convicted L. Ron Hubbard did tell them that they should be doing this. And that's all it took to act unhinged and lawless and crazy and break all manner of laws and rules because whatever. So doesn't make sense, LAPD. It just doesn't make sense. And that's what we're asking. Perry was released in his own recognizance. And again, you guys, the police saw the video. Liz Gale was right there. All of her TikTok followers saw it as it happened. There was no close call. The guy turned around and then he came unhinged. That is not responsible adult behavior. There was no self-defense. He wasn't being attacked. He wasn't being touched. We're very well aware you can't touch anyone in public, because then the law will start really coming down on you quickly. The minute touch is involved, now you're infringing on boundaries. Now you are posting a threat. Now you, even after what he said, he said what he said, I'm going to, afterwards, when he went and lounged at him, why so much hate? If he was, all the streams are there. We're talking about what we're activists for. We're not hiding that our passports were locked up. We're not hiding that what's being done to children inside of those hotels is unthinkable. So if all that info is just all over the public record, why would people have such a big problem with that? Child trafficking is probably one of the things that any human being we would hope agrees with. We hope we wouldn't have a million different versions of, if a child's from another country and their parents really did want them to join and really wanted them to be a volunteer with their passport locked up, then it's not that. It's not what it's called. So released on his own recognizance with full video evidence of what he did. And with the LAPD knowing that all eyes were on them, with the LAPD now, the aftermath of it all, we now found out how they were treating Aaron there. And again, you guys, in what world are you the ones that call the LAPD? Are you the ones that call the police to report a crime and you end up in cuffs for hours and hours and hours on a steel bench? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make a shred of sense, LAPD. Please make it make sense, please. Los Angeles Police Department also aware of increasing number of activists in and around the Church of Scientology in the Hollywood area. The Los Angeles Police Department is committed to protecting those exercising religious freedom as well as those exercising their First Amendment rights. Great. That's great to know, LAPD, that you are really all about protecting religious freedoms. So in what world was locking us up against our will in the hotel, our passport confiscated, being audited, being asked to self-incriminate, including but not limited to, all under the guise that we were getting a very spiritual interrogation? Because you know what? If your PR department, this is for y'all's PR department, LAPD. If your PR department can type a note to the kids that grew up in Scientology and literally just explain to us the laws surrounding confiscation of minors' passports and the laws surrounding, including but not limited to, false imprisonment, if we couldn't leave the room, if we were locked up for 4, 5, 6, 7 hours like that, If some random adult that completed a 2-week course inside a hotel had that level of capacity and power over us and shredded any agency, and if furthermore, we couldn't even complain about the abuse we were receiving because we were told that if we complain, there was something wrong with us and we had to be sent back for programming and sent back for more of the stuff that we were trying to get away from. So it's over to you, LAPD, to make it make sense. It's all over to you to defend y'all's actions that y'all thought were not caught on tape live. Because plenty of people have more questions than answers, and plenty of fingerprints are smelling like OSA. OSA being all over this. And, you know, if OSA's on it, you best believe RTC's getting CC'd. Nothing happens in those hotels, Robert E. Mangle, without your clients, the top tier dogs, the most superior, the most highest, the most senior, the most with bars and fake uniforms and nobody else. There's no way they're staying out of the loop. So if they're telling you that they're staying out of the loop, then they're lying to you. So go double check what in the hell they're doing. Question. Can you put that picture next to the other one side to side? Yes, sorry, Joe. Like I said, maybe next time I will. Julie B, sending lots of love to Surgeon Michael. Thank you, Julie B, sending you guys love right back. And thank you, Kathy, for your super sticker. I appreciate it. Thank you, Jennifer. Literally unbothered. That was our statement, you guys. After going through all of that they put us through, Aaron, like we are literally unbothered. Like our whole life, they've been doing this to us. Our whole life, they've been, you know, just, we've been around deranged people that abuse power, abuse this idea that the First Amendment right lets them be unhinged, and then everything else is canceled and shredded in the Constitution. I mean, if it wasn't for streets saying hello, screaming, like I said, we had no examples showing that that could be done before. You guys just think about that. Think about the fact that Streets has not even any dog in this fight, you would think, because he didn't expose his children to Scientology. He never bought into it. He does not have that dog. And yet he could not be more literally aggressively going after the problem, calling it out, smelling the rat, and literally showing us, leading by example, that, oh man, you are allowed to ask tough questions. You don't have to wait until you get told that it's your turn and now you can speak. And yeah, you can ask that question, but not that other one, because we don't want that one. Because then if you ask that one, then all of a sudden, all of our hard work of fluffery that we've been putting up for everyone to be very confused about what to care about, to really want to come to the rescue of adults that implicated themselves in whatever in the hell it is that they're calling it. So that's literally where we are. And so we couldn't be more unbothered about it, LAPD. There is nothing you can do that these people didn't do to us as kids without a shred of advocate and without a shred of capability of escaping. So imagine the level of pain resistant that we had to develop, the disassociation that we had to develop in order to cope with what was being asked of us to do as kids. So really sit there, LAPD, and think about that before you come and attack us again, because we're literally unbothered. We're not fearful. We have all of our supporters on our phone. We got 333. Yay, you guys. I love synchronicity. We have 333 people right now that will be, you know, showing up in all manner of other lives that we're going to be doing all the time, because that is our security blanket now, you guys. So when I say that y'all are our oxygen, is literally that. There's no way I could be anywhere near these hotels if y'all weren't watching with me. There's just no way. I couldn't do it before. It's just, we know what they're capable of. We know, as if we just didn't see the example of that. And imagine that they still went for it, knowing everything. Knowing that they have watched everything that we put up for them to see. It's not like we're doing our lives in private and members only so we can really make a little. No, this is exposure. This is transparency. This is this exercise of our constitutional right. So literally unbother AF is us, you guys, and all our little squirrels. Ron, thank you, Ron. Love your channel and how you say it like it is. Wondering how and when you got out. Did you have to plan to escape? If you're willing to share things. Yeah, Ron, thank you. Yeah, you guys, I mean, we came to a breaking point. Everyone can come to a breaking point, and that's what gets you out. And you have to have that breaking point for yourself. You have to be willing to make the sacrifice. There is a sacrifice, an emotional sacrifice, a toll that you're going to have to pay when you cut everyone out of your life. And it's extremely tough to do so, because when you're in that in between, like about to leave because they're treating me so horrible, but I have my whole entire life committed to this, and everyone I know and I thought I loved part of it, it's very hard to go against that grain. But your knowingness and your intuition guide you, and that's what I relied on to really decide, no more. I'm done. My parents came to my house, to this room, you guys, breaking news. This exact room that I was using as a dining room at the time. And my mom and my dad was right there. My mom was right there. And they're both doing an intervention. Oh my God, do the OT levels. You have no idea what in the hell you're going to find out if you do that. And it's probably all these problems you're having is because of you're not doing the OT levels and all of this. And mind you, I had just come out, and they were wanting to take me back to the OT levels, take me back to these people that were going to tell me that I'm a degraded person, and, to tell them all about it, and to pay them and pay them and pay them so they could really find out everything about me. And I was like, no, that's disgusting. I don't want it. I don't need it. If y'all want to do it, go do it. But I'm also not going to have a fake ass relationship with y'all. Like, why? Why am I going to do that to myself? Why am I going to feel bad about who I am like they made me feel for 35 years just so that they could satisfy the little power trip that they were helping me? No. Like, we did grow up. We did grow up. We weren't gullible and manipulatable. Some of us at some point, we were like, just no, get me the hell out of here. It's either that or I'm not going to be here in this world. And even when you leave, you guys, even when you leave, you find it very hard, because it's unthinkable, the level of reconciliation of trauma that you've got to, that you're left with. And it's all part of like betrayal blindness. So it's the worst type of sadistic awakening that you can have, because you awake to learn your entire life was a lie, a pathetic lie, a pathetic waste of your time. And that, we were stuck at this fawning condition because we could only just fawn, that's how they were controlling us, like, fawning so that we could be submissive for them. Amanda, comments, would you please add the link to the article to the description? Yeah. It is it is in there, you guys. It is in the description. There's a link on the description. That's this article. So y'all can get it there. And then just on his, just check his Facebook, because his Facebook is also right there. And the LAPD statement that's in the community lines, that's everything. I didn't want to say it because, again, you guys, like, it's not, he's a private citizen, he did what he did and he put himself here, but, we don't need to be talking about people's personal situationships. Oh no, Nora. Yadira, I'm a hot mess. No, Nora, you're never a hot mess, but this was definitely a hot dog mess of a mess. This was like the hot dog and not the pink hot dog. This was like if the pink hot dog had literally diarrhea poured all over it. And here's Paris at the Blue Building last night. Security dragged people away for just talking to the public and answering questions. It was so weird. Yeah, Paris, because again, the security guards are the slave masters. They are the ones that are supposed to control everyone else, right? So like the ones that are on the most strict orders, do not let anyone talk to the people. And then Scientology executives try to be like, oh, you guys, it's just a small protest. It's just like, whatever. We're expanding so much that they really don't want us to, clean the whole entire planet. So it's all a pitch like that, because it took them even a while to transition us into this PR crisis management operation that I experienced when the protesters were outside for Lisa McPherson. They started little by little. Oh, you guys, we're gonna take vans now, just for a little while, just because there's these protesters. You wouldn't want to hear what they have to say because they're so in theta. They're so gross. They're such degraded beings. They want to destroy the only thing that's gonna help the world. And it's all that type of pitch. So, those security guards are awful and what they're doing is awful. And yeah, I don't think of a good idea for them to be doing what they're doing. And, you saw how they handled her in public under video, you guys. They're very careful. I mean, grabbed her like this, but behind closed doors, there's nobody watching. Nobody has cameras in there except for their own cameras. And they're very good at, let's delete that footage. Shh, scrub, scrub, scrub. Okay. No longer we have that footage. Great. So, it's sort of that deal. So you guys, I think the outcome of this whole thing, the takeaway is that it's a little fishy, this photo, and we'll continue digging into it and we'll see what else we can find for ourselves regarding this photo and this man. But so far, everything stinks, LAPD. And, there's already 307 people here that right now would love to understand better what everyone witnessed and would love to understand better what y'all don't want to do your job and why y'all are just so pressed to, as you stated in your statement, help someone really do their First Amendment rights. And by all means, if taking away passports of minors is First Amendment protected, let us know. If locking up someone against their will to answer, including but not limited to self-admission to felonies, when including but not limited to a minor like myself, was told to, ask whatever question we want and also ask if they've ever committed a felony for which they've never been arrested. And before you say, LAPD, well, that couldn't have happened to everyone. Yes. Yes, it happened with everyone. You don't get inside the hotel unless you have done an A2J check. No one is exempted. No celebrity is exempt. No one is exempted whatsoever. If they don't trust that they can stick your fangs in you and that they will be able to crisis manage accordingly, then you are not getting in. If you refuse, then you're not getting in. So you are required to implicate yourself and consent and admit. And just like that, they already have the people that are admitting to that type of stuff, felonies for which they haven't been arrested for. It'd be great to know how in the literal hell they have y'all on speed dial. But we would love to hear the members of the public, the members of the community, and 300 people that are here in the chat. How many times have they called you when any type of felony was discussed and video recorded and taped and transcribed inside the hotel? How many? Because if the answer is 0, then that's the next question y'all are going to have to start dealing with, because feigning ignorance. Oh, well, we had no shred of a clue. Well, now you do. Now you do. And since you are very good friendsy-wensies with them, I'm sure they will have no problem showing you what an A to J check is. So ask the question directly. Where is the A to J that this guy keeps talking about, that talks about felonies? Have you committed any felony for which you have not been arrested? Which is a question that not even y'all can be asking people. Because isn't it against their Fifth Amendment right to self-incriminate? LAPD? Or is that not a thing as soon as you cross those thresholds? As soon as you have no rights? Because, that was how we lived our life. That was how we lived our life, with no Fifth Amendment right, with no First Amendment right. Just those two. Let's just start with those two right there. LAPD. Just those two. Okay. So stay vigilant, you guys. When we go on live, even if you can't show up for a live or you can't be with us, just always check in if you can. Don't stay. I get it. Like, you don't all have to listen to everything we have to say, but having our phones is the most important First Amendment protection we have, because no one can twist our words, our intent, what we're doing, what we're saying, how we are. No one can mischaracterize us, which is what OSA does all day and all night. How are we going to pitch this as this? How are we going to pitch this as that? And imagine that they think they can just pitch, and then all of a sudden something's going to work. They couldn't be more pathetic and stuck in the 60s if their literal founder and humanitarian didn't forbid them from, getting with the times and advancing. Because instead of them advancing, they're stuck in the past. What did he say to do in 1960s? Oh yeah, to break into people's homes, and who cares? Just collect the data and just be unhinged. And all of that information is already ready for you to see, to establish the pattern of corruption, LAPD. And I'm sure that Mike Rinder would love to talk to y'all about what type of programs his office put in place to continue the legacy of the Guardian's office, which was L. Ron Hubbard's office that he created, that he put Mary Sue there, and he put all the 11 people that got convicted, indicted, and thrown to prison as Mikey Rinder showed up and saved the day. Oh, I'll come up with a new name. Oh, we'll just tell everyone that we got rid of the bad apples, even though the rhetoric all called for everyone to be a bad apple. So if you didn't want to be a bad apple and you got stuck with L. Ron Hubbard, it sucks to be you. Better luck next lifetime. Okay, you guys? So we'll close this chat tonight, and I hope you all have a very wonderful evening, and I will see you all very, very soon. Thank you so much.